On April 23rd, the Federal Trade Commission approved a ban against all non-compete clauses in the United States. We are very familiar with the non-compete. We both sat out 2-year, I call them sentences. But with that, what's your initial take on the banning of non-competes?
Yeah, a lot still needs to happen. I'm not going to get in the weeds on the actual timeline and what needs to go into action for it to be active. But it looks like more than likely there are going to be changes. Mm-hmm. With the non-competes going somewhat out the window, if we assume that's what happens,
sure,
the playing field is leveled. Competition is good, and a lot of big players hold their employees in non-competes. All employees, for the most part.
Yeah.
So a lot of the way it's written, from what I've read, top executives will be held to a non-compete.
Sure.
Lower level employees, which is majority of the industry, will not be held to a non-compete.
I can see that.
So what does that do? It levels the playing field and puts more accountability on each company to invest in their employees, in their company, in their culture, to retain that talent. Yeah. That's what they want to do. If they don't care, say goodbye. It's going to be an exodus.
Yeah. I mean, I think the employee retention piece is huge, where what are we doing to keep these people happy and engaged and pushing them to achieve, greater levels? Whereas in the past, they would have to sit out a certain period of time and then they could go to a different company. Well, now they can, it's kind of like the transfer portal almost, right? Where you're going into the transfer portal and you can flip, right? I think that's something that we need to think about, especially with our company. Like today, we don't have a non-compete, but we do have a non-solicit. So that's something that we try to do the right thing by our employees all the time. And I'm glad to see that something like that is happening, even just because we dealt with it, right? And I know that it personally, I went through so many emotional things during that time that I'm glad that nobody else really has to go through that, especially if you're, an operational support person, making $50,000, $60,000 a year. There's no reason that they need to sit out a year or sit out a certain period of time to withhold confidentiality or withhold confidential information.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of it has to do is, non-solicit versus non-compete. Non-compete, like, it's confidentiality agreement. They want to make sure that you're not going to a competitor and sharing trade secrets.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I was mid-level management, and I don't know what trades, like, I remember some clients after the 2 years, but I didn't break the non-compete. I didn't care. You still had to go back to work.
Yeah.
And land that business.
You still got to close them, man.
It's not like I had a cheat code that I pulled from my previous employer.
Flip that switch.
Yeah, that's not how it works. Yeah. So we understand that a non-compete is going to hinder employees from, advancing in their life and their careers. We don't believe in that. So we want to be very, very intentional with how we build our culture so that we are retaining the people that we bring on board. Yeah. We're investing time, money, energy into these employees. It's important. It starts in the hiring process, but we want to bring these people in and make them feel like they don't ever need to look for another job.
Correct.
They're happy with where they are.
Yeah.
In fact, we had an employee that was looking to leave.
Yeah.
He had a competitor
offering him
more money.
Yep.
And we had a conversation, and this is an employee that's extremely loyal.
Yep.
He works his ass off. He's great for our team, but he wasn't where he was financially.
Right.
That's on us.
Correct.
We didn't know he was on
I'm glad that he came to us and had that conversation, right? And he had, hey, I got this offer. What do you guys think? Like, okay, like now me and you need to act on it, right? And we need to put our money where our mouth is and, make sure that he feels valued or he feels like he's being compensated for the time and effort that he's putting in.
And he had every right to do that.
Yeah, agreed.
I wish we would have known before. And again, that's the piece that's on us.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not always going to know how an employee or someone on your team's feeling.
Yeah, you'd like to be involved, but it's hard to do.
Yeah, that says a lot about him. He's an awesome employee where he was getting his work done. He was still busting his tail.
Yeah.
He just had this weight on his shoulders where he entertained the conversation. The company that was, reaching out to him, they do have a non-compete. They're a good company. We know them.
Yeah.
But our biggest piece was we don't have a non-compete because we want to be held accountable.
Yeah.
As employers to our employees we want you all to hold us accountable to make sure that we do what we say we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
If we are about people and we want to make an impact and help people reach their goals, all a non-compete's going to do is allow us to get lazy and complacent with what we say we're going to do. That's all that does.
Well, and I think you can stand behind it too, right? I think, folks with, like, I am very much against a non-compete personally. I think it gives those companies an area to hide behind it, right? Oh, I can treat my employees like shit, but I can hide behind a non-compete, right? Whereas like now, you said it earlier, and I love this, but it levels the playing field and drives more accountability to the companies that are out there that have one to say, you need to take care of your employees. And if you don't, there's not a ton of repercussions, for them going to work for a competitor.
Yeah. And for that competitor that did reach out to our employee, like, it's fair game. It makes it competitive. It makes it fun. It holds us accountable from a competitive standpoint as well. But, just a quick update for that competitor, that employee, we retained him. We paid him more. We gave him a bonus. He's broken his record twice in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you holding us accountable and checking us.
There you go.
We got better because of it, and we're looking forward to get better moving forward.
Yeah, excited to bring you guys more information as we learn more about the non-compete scenario. Best of luck out there.
We love the guy, yada, yada, yada. Like,
sure.
Like that's a huge plus for me. I mentioned this already, but history of promotion. Someone that's like never settling, does not accept mediocrity. They're willing to put in the work to continue moving up, whether that's career-wise, financially, personal development, whatever it may be. Someone that wants more and is hungry for more.
Yeah.
Those are the type of people that I want.